Welcome back to Game Over Cancer, everybody. You thought you got rid of me, but I'm back. My name's Bill. I am, in fact, still doing it. And we are going to get right into G.I. Joe, a real American hero with MixMastaPJ. Take it away.
Hey, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you guys are. My name's MixMastaPJ. I'm joined here in the booth by Zero the 14th, the third best runner in the world at this game. Zero, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. How about you?
Not too bad. About to show you guys some G.I. Joe. As you can see already, there's a bunch of different characters we got lined up for you today. They all do some different things, a little bit stronger, a little bit weaker than others. Before we get started, I just want to kind of give you a little bit of a preface of what's going to happen here. So when we pick our characters here, I'm going to go through these menus so darn fast, you're going to have no idea what their names are and how fast they and how strong they are at certain things. So Duke, we barely ever use him. He's pretty medium at everything. Blizzard's actually pretty terrible at lots of things there, so we only use him when they force us to. And Snake Eyes can jump really high, and he has the ability to throw grenades really, really fast, but that's about it. Captain Gridiron's got the strongest fists in the game. He can punch things really tough. He's got the best punch ability, so any enemies weak to that, we use him for that. And then Rock and Roll's got the strongest gun. He's garbage at everything else, though, so we have to try and do everything within our power to abuse that metric and make sure that we can get Rock and Roll's gun to do most of our damage, in spite of all of his other shortcomings there. So, what we'll end up doing here at the very beginning of the game is this really cool trick. I'm just going to show you the trick before I start the game. But there are gun upgrades throughout this game, where your gun gets stronger and stronger. But if you pick Rock and Roll, you can't get this gun upgrade. That seems really lame, that like Rock and Roll is the best gun in the game, can't get that upgrade. So the very first trick we do, like literally 2 seconds after we start the run, is we make this jump with Duke, and then we immediately switch to Rock and Roll so he gets the gun upgrades. I just wanted to show you guys that, because that's a really cool trick that happens, and I can't articulate that until I'm like 30 seconds down the road. So I'd rather just explain it right now before we get started. So, alright, you ready, Zero?
All set?
Alright, cool. We'll take it away here. Start the timer in 3, 2, 1, go.
Alright, so one of the things you're going to be seeing, he's going to be doing a lot of really precise jumps and just shooting one shot at a time. If you have too many bullets on the screen, the game will actually start lagging, so you really have to try to work with lag management, not have too many bullets. There's also, like you can see up there, there's little power-ups hidden in the trees here and behind the trunk, so you want to be jumping, he knows where they all are, so basically the goal is to get Rock and Roll to max gun by the end of mission 3. Here you're just jumping forward, because jumping is actually going to be faster than walking. And we're already at the first boss. Going to switch to Snake Eyes here because he's got this amazing grenade toss. And then if you do it right, Rock and Roll, you just switch to him and you just shoot the back of the plane, and it's down, and there's mission 1-1.
Yeah, it didn't one cycle, but that's not too bad.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And now here we are, mission 2, and the second level of every mission, you have to find a certain amount of checks that'll be in the bottom right of the screen there. It says 1 out of 2. So there's 2 checks in this one. You'll have to find more as you keep going through all the levels, and you can't get to the boss until you find all the checks. But here, nice and easy.
Blowing up the place. Got to place all these bombs in exactly the right locations.
Very strategic. That is a really bad pattern for the boss, but that's very good cleanup. Now for this level, each enemy in the game will do a different amount of damage. And here we're actually going to use the swamp to cut through, and once we get our guns, you can actually go under, you don't have to worry about as much. And that'll save you from taking some extra hits. With this boss, it is pure RNG. You're hoping it's just going to land and stand still, but unfortunately he's jumping all over the place. But there we go, mission 1 is down.
Could have been better, but definitely could have been worse.
Yeah. And now we're at mission 2, unfortunately led by Blizzard. As PJ mentioned earlier, Blizzard is terrible. His only real use is if you're falling in a pit, you can switch to him so he dies instead of someone that's actually good. There are like gun upgrades hidden under there, but since this is a speed run, we're not going to be going for those. We're just going to be going forward. There's like those little guys on the flying jet skis can knock you into pits. Those grenades will do 4 damage. And one of the coolest things here about Captain Gridiron is instead of shooting this plane, you're just going to punch it. and that's how you beat. There's another boss that's even better than this, but yeah, Gridiron just punches things instead of using his gun. And now there's another thing in this game that we haven't seen yet, vehicles. The chopper here is very good. There's some other ones, like the Buzzbore, which you'll be seeing shortly, that are not so good. Whoever designed the Buzzbore hates people. The controls are terrible.
It does go a lot faster than this thing, though, man.
Mm-hmm.
And this thing, the one thing that's tough about this is the bullets. They don't really do a whole lot of damage, and they don't really go. They can't hit the same enemy with more than one at a time. They kind of spray, and it adds so many sprites to the screen. It really is a sacrifice in time when you end up using it to try and do any damage at all. So you're better off just running through people and using these 4 HP to damage boost through things, as opposed to actually trying to shoot things with it.
And now here you'll get to see that, in this next boss room, if you shoot into the there'll be a little thing that says danger at the top. If you shoot into the ceiling, you can actually get your own Buzzbore. But since this is a speed run, we're not going to do that. This is actually a very difficult boss to do quickly with the timing. But that was very, very good. I don't know if I've ever seen a boss like that fast for that one before. That was amazing. This level is incredibly difficult. The jumps are very precise, and if you're not perfect, you're going right into a pit. So you can do it a little safer to damage boost and land on those platforms a little better. This boss is also a lot of fun, just trying to get up in his face, and if you actually switch from your punch to your gun, you'll do damage a lot quicker, which I don't know if you could see because it was so quick there, but he was actually rotating from his gun to the fists, and that's a way to do a lot of extra damage quicker. Now for this level, this is an auto-scroller, everyone's favorite thing in a speedrun. But here we do want to, we're hoping that we get 3 gun upgrades here. You want Rock and Roll to be max by the time he's at the end of this level. There's 1. And max will be at, after 3.
After 3D. I'm at 3C right now. You guys can see it in there in the lower right. So we're using the melee punch here to try and kill the enemies quicker and take less damage. But realistically, we're just trying to get 2 gun upgrades. We got about 30 seconds or so of auto-score time if there's any donations as well.
Awesome, thank you so much. I actually got 3 to rifle off here really quick. We've got $5 from Ann M. White saying it's time to bust some stars. $20 from Minicy Brango saying good luck to Dylan and GG to everyone involved in GOC. And we've got $25 from Mad Mega, excited to donate for a great cause. Now you know. Guys, thank you so much for the donations. Keep them on rolling in.
And knowing is half the battle, of course.
Yep.
I figured we were going to get one of those. It was that or pork chop sandwiches was going to be the donation alert there. Thank you.
So here with this boss, the reason he's jumping is because Rock and Roll's shots will spread out so much, but if you jump, it's going to hit the boss with every single one. And this is, first try, that jump has killed so many runs. It's very difficult to get because you've got a little section where you have to get in to get the Buzzbore. This is the Buzzbore, by the way. It controls very weird. It clings to walls, it jumps, it's really hard to explain until you've actually tried it yourself, and then you realize that it's so bad.
Yeah, the control's just so wonky. I'm trying to think of, like, a vehicle or something that somebody has, like, I don't know, man. It just doesn't do what you expect it to do.
Yeah, and there's times, every time you think you've practiced enough to get the Buzzbore down right, you mess it up and you realize that you still have no idea. Ooh, invincibility there. That's really good. That not only does it keep you from getting hit, but it reduces a lot of lag. Now, if you do lose the Buzzbore here, the Buzzbore does move a lot quicker than walking, but there is a backup one right above this check here. But at this point, hopefully you won't need it. So we just keep going through here. There's 2 more checks left. And
got the despawn. All right, let's go.
The boss in this level is, if you can, if you can do it with Captain Gridiron, it's amazing. It's incredibly difficult. Like if you're playing casually, if you just pop Rock and Roll in the left side, you don't have to worry about anything. You can't get knocked into the pits. But if you're using Gridiron, which, I'm guessing we'll be seeing from PJ here.
Oh, we're punching robots.
Excellent. It's It's so risky, but it's so much faster. It looks so much cooler. And it's such a difficult thing to do right, but so basically you want to jump right in there. You got to keep punching the eye, and then one thing that we do in this game perfect.
Honorable discharge there. Purple heart for Captain Gridiron.
That's beautiful. You jump into the pit. That saves a little bit of time versus for the loading. And now we just we abuse Snake Eyes' amazing jump here. One thing we don't really use it in this, but Snake Eyes, his gun does not actually use bullets. It's like he shoots little bits. He shoots magic, so you don't have to worry about ammo with him. But it's incredibly weak. Now here, since the first level didn't give us enough gun upgrades, you've got 3, so you can get to max without a problem with rock and roll. And here we're just going a little bit more to the boss. Just gotta try not to get knocked into a pit there, that wouldn't be good. And this boss, pretty easy. Just get right in its face with rock and roll, that top will come back, and then it'll die pretty quickly after.
I'm not very versed in the G.I. Joe lore, or have been to New York that many times, but I've never seen that many birds indoors before.
No.
So, I don't know if that's intentional, if that's like from the story, and I'm just naive to the greatness of Cobra Commander's New York base, but that's quite a bit of wildlife in there.
As a former resident of New York, inside birds are very common.
Okay.
Uh-oh. That's not good. But with this is a brand new vehicle here. This is also probably the easiest level in the game. You just keep jumping up. Plus, a little added benefit, if you get that vehicle, I don't know what this thing is called, but you can use it against the boss. And ideally, you want the boss to stay in the middle there. Perfect. And right there, 2-cycle. Now for this level, it's all about HP management for this one. Snake Eyes is going to be really good at climbing. There's some really cool climbs you'll do later in the level. But it's basically, you're kind of doing, you start in the middle, you go up, and then you're effectively looping around the entire level to get all the checks you need. And you do little jumps just because jumps are quicker. See, there's the check in the top corner.
6 of them in this level we gotta go get, so they're all over the place.
And it gets even worse in 5 and Mission 6. But Mission 6 has a special treat that we'll be seeing shortly. So here, there's a really neat trick too here where you can get down there really quickly and take the damage boost off. PJ executed that perfectly. You can lose like a couple seconds if you don't time that right, because you're just sitting there trying to go down through the platform. Like their rock and roll, I don't think he can reach that check without going through a round. I've never really tried it because I don't use Snake Eyes. They're trying to con us into getting the buzz door there, but we don't want to do that. Really clean. Doing the jumps there is incredibly difficult to time. You can get knocked back. You can completely miss a platform. Very well executed. So now we're going to climb back up. Got 1 check here. Now the boss of this level, Road Pig, can be a very big problem. Ideally, rock and roll's in very good shape, which is a huge plus. But he can knock you into pit. If you fall down, you have to climb all the way back up while he's launching rocks at your head. And there, it's hard to see because he did it so quickly. But PJ turned so Snake Eyes was facing left just as he got up there. Because he was facing to the left, when the rock hit him, he did a damage boost backwards, and that allowed him to stay on the platform. Now here, this level, also incredibly easy. Just grab the helicopter and fly straight up. Not as easy if you don't take the helicopter, but if you do, no problem. Now the boss here, there's a little bit of strategy that goes into him. If there's these lasers that'll be flying across the bottom of the screen, they'll actually do 3 damage. So there you see, switch to rock and roll to take 3 damage. And if he shoots a normal bullet at you, that's just 1 damage. So here, really good timing there. And Mission 4 is done. That was close, but you got it.
Yeah, I lost a lot of health on that boss before, so that had me really worried about it.
And now we're on to Mission 5. This is basically, you're just trying to keep rock and roll healthy. So if there are any more donations, this is basically just going forward, so...
Well, I do just want to mention we are here today to support the Canadian Cancer Society. It's an absolutely wonderful cause. Keep those donations rolling in. We're just shy of $3,500. And I'm sure we'll be able to hit that by the end of the day here today. So keep the donations on rolling in. And PJ, keep killing this G.I. Joe run. I'm having a blast watching this.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks. And also, thank you guys to who's ever donated already this week. I know when I was tuning in on Monday, it was like, okay, cool, goal is $500. Let's see that. And it was just that we're obliterating that, like almost 7 times that already. That's nuts. But thank you so much. Everybody's done that.
That was a really quick boss fight.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever taken that guy out in like phase 3 that fast before. I want to go back and figure out what I did differently there.
Yeah, that was like a blink and you miss it there.
Yeah.
Usually it's like he'll push you back, you'll take a couple more extra shots.
Yeah.
Now, this level is longer. It's one of the last check levels, and unfortunately, it also requires use of the buzzbore, which again is a terrible thing. But the buzzbore moves it so much quicker than walking, so like if you're doing a speed run and you lose the buzzbore, it's basically a reset because you can't go very fast without it.
Oh, we got the jump.
Really
though.
nice jump climb there. So here it's basically just there's an optimal route to get all the checks. These levels are like a maze when you're playing casually, but when you've learned the speed run, you know how to follow and get everything. Nice little platform you can fall through here. They do try to tempt you with the helicopter, but as PJ was explaining earlier with how the shots on that work, it's actually not going to work as well for you here. So unfortunately, we do want to stick with the buzzbore and its awful controls. They're taking an intentional hit to sneak through there.
Got stuck on the wall, otherwise I would have dashed through that guy too, but not the best damage boost, but that's alright.
It happens. Still got the buzzbore. That thing was trying to get ya.
Yeah.
But it did not succeed.
It's weird trying to fire an item that like orbits at the exact same distance all the time, because then you're just like trying to be at this very awkward spot where it's not actually... I don't know, let's see if we can dodge this missile.
Get out of there!
There we go, we shot him anyway.
So now if the buzzbore gets lost here, not that big a deal. The boss is right here. Now this boss room is a little interesting. It auto-scrolls up, and you can actually fall in the pit if you go too low on the screen, and you can die. So like when you get to the top here, you've got this section open. If you get knocked into the pit, you can die. So this boss can be very difficult. Ideally, we want to sneak up into that top corner, get to gridiron, and if you duck and punch like that, it's the same thing as swapping your gun. It just fires off the damage really quickly. And look at that, we got General Hawk. Now this is, I think PJ, you said too, your favorite level in the game.
100%.
This level is so difficult to do well without getting hit or getting knocked back, but if you can do it with the damage boost like that in the right place, there is no better feeling in this game than executing this level perfectly.
There's not a lot of RNG here either. Everything just when it goes right, it feels so great.
Like that, perfectly done. Now with Destro here, he's got 2 phases, him flying in this little, I don't know what that is, but he'll knock him off here shortly, and then he's going to be jumping over pits and trying to knock you into them with a damage boost.
And if this goes right, we'll die too.
Yep, you want to kill him there, and as soon as you know he's dead, you jump into the pit, save that couple seconds.
Yep, you avoid a cutscene, and it does us the benefit of lowering Rock and Roll's HP for this level, which Zero can explain a bit here.
Yep, no, we get to use General Hawk in this level, and he can fly, which is awesome. But we're actually trying to set up a death warp for this. When you get to the last check, you can save quite a bit of... that happens.
It's so bad.
You can save quite a bit of time with the death warp by getting Rock and Roll's health down. Because here, those grenades will do 4 damage. So you get them up, then as soon as it's about to hit, you switch to Rock and Roll, and unfortunately the rocket got in the way. So if the rocket didn't get in the way there, 2 grenades and rock and roll would be at 1 health, so you just take 1 hit at the end. Here you can still take a couple hits to get them down to 1. So we've got 6 checks to go. We're in Cobra Commander's base. And this level is just, it's huge. There's you can get some extra guns, some extra ammo. There's a lot of places where you can get more health if you want it. And the Cobra Commander boss fight is, there are a lot of things that I'll explain as we get a little closer to it, but there's a lot that can go wrong in it, so you want to try to make sure that, in this, we're not worried about Rock and Roll or Duke, we just want to use General Hawk. And you want to try to give him as much health as possible. Here, there, like that, the grenade guy just threw, it's just bad RNG. As far as when he threw that, but if you want, there's health right there. So we got 4 checks to go.
Do you think it's lower route first, or do you go up and around and then do this one second to last?
I do this. Oh boy, I was gonna say I don't remember. I don't even know if I could do that. If I could do this, but I'd have to study it again. It's been a while since I ran this, but I'm pretty sure I do this in the same way that you're doing it right now. Because Yeah, definitely. Because, then the 7th check is just off to the left here.
And then we hit this fire here on purpose so that we can get through these grenades. Because taking 1 HP is way better than taking 4.
So now we're going to get ready to set up the Death Warp. I don't know. There is a safety health right before that.
Oh, I'm going to get it.
Another very good use of the using the iframes to get through the bad part. So the last check is just below us. They just make you work for it a little bit. But at this point, not worried about General Hawk will have full health in a second. Just got to get through a couple more walls here. Then unfortunately, Rock and Roll's done so much good work for us, but he's helping everybody by saving quite a bit of time on this here.
Purple Heart.
And now it takes you right back to the start of the level. And now we just go right to the end, which is in the far left side, pretty near the top. Now with Cobra Commander, he's got this little ring thing that he fires that can turn you into a lizard. If you jump into the platform, he'll do, is it 4 or 5 bars?
4 bars. You bump your head on this thing or run into it. Time will be as soon as we kill this guy, by the way. So we'll yell it shortly here.
So basically the goal is you want to try to keep it timing it so all of your shots are hitting him right in the face, and you want to hopefully avoid the grenades that he's going to be throwing and not get lasered. There's
time.
21 minutes. Excellent time.
We'll take that.
Very good run. Well done.
Thanks. I would have loved a sub 22 anytime earlier today, so being a minute ahead of that right now feels pretty great.
Yeah, this is the time to get that.
Yeah. And that is G.I. Joe. That is all 6 levels there, but I will tell you, in typical fashion, with a lot of these Taxon games, if you've played any other NES versions, they make you beat the game again when you get to the end. There's always a second quest and sometimes a third quest, and in G.I. Joe is no different. You have to beat the game in the second quest with only 2 Joes, and in the third quest, you get 2 Joes, but all the enemies do double damage. So it's...
And don't they have more health, too?
I think they do. I think you might only do half damage. I'm not quite sure. Look, I beat this game when I was a kid. It was a game that I frequently borrowed from my cousin, so I was always playing it, but never that good to get to those things all the time. So maybe we'll make a category for that one day and really have to put in the work. But that would require a lot of routing differences because they put all the checks in different spots too. So
yeah, in the third round, all the checks are hidden behind invisible walls too. So it's not like you can just see them. You just have to basically run into everything.
Oh yeah,
stumble into an invisible wall that has a check.
Yeah, and in Mario World fashion, yeah, Taxon and Nintendo did it first. Replay all the enemies here in the credits.
Mm-hmm. The buzzbore, boo.
But yeah, that is G.I. Joe. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you really enjoyed it. And Zero and I put plenty of hours into this game. I'll actually be running this game later this month at Retrothon and next month at my very first Games Done Quick. So I'm glad that G.I. Joe is finally getting some appreciation. It got some love during the Big 20 a couple months ago, and I'm hoping that it brings more runners to it, because it's a lot of fun. It's a really cool platformer. It's got great music. There's just so much that's to be enjoyed about this game that seems to be rather overlooked by most of the popular NES crowd. So give it a shot if you're looking for a new NES game to play. I've really enjoyed all of my time with it.
Yeah, it's been absolutely great having you guys. Phenomenal run, PJ. Great job on the commentary, Zero. Guys, we're going to be right back, moving into an Ember Knights Any Percent race, featuring myself and my good friend Asuda. We'll be back here in a few minutes. Stick around, guys.